You didn't put your recording or not? Oh yeah. Now I think it's the fourth, the tongue branches. On the left hand branch, visualize the two principal Shariputas, Shavakas, and Pachika Buddhas. Sharvakas like Shariputa and Mongalayana, surrounded by the noble Sangha of Shavakas and Pachika Buddhas. Like Shariputa and the Mongalayana, and like a kind of and how to say, it's like a more middle beings forms, and like a kind of, we call the lesser vehicles follower, but actually particularly the Shariputas is like kind of the really holder of the Mahayanas, and Mahayanas like kind of the text, most times conversation, discussion with Shariputa and Avalokiteshvaras. Then it's like Buddha's comment to them. It's right and wrong, he give answer. Like this. Yeah, but anyway, those is like noble monk sanghas. Shavaka Pachika Buddhas. All are white in color and like dressed in the three monastic robe, 3 monastery robes. There's one in the down, like looks like skirt, and then it's like upper, like kind of this kind of. There's 2. One is really the monastery robes. One is like to protect the kind of dirty things. And Chugu, Tongu, Laguse. There's 3 monastery robes. And then it's like they are their 2 are the standing, also monastery robe. They are same as the Bodhisattvas. Also they are steady on the feet. Also that means it's like kind of the never tired, doing benefit for sentient beings. Standing, holding their staff and alms bowl, and this is like kind of the special specific staff. Staff is like kind of special attribute. It can make sound, like you hit in the ground, and then it make like kind of the bell sound. In the ancient times, those monks and Buddhas, like kind of the retinues, they almost never wearing shoes, and when they are moving, they all the times this to put on the ground, make sound that means insect to run away, And also, of course, there's many different science. And top of there is like, you have a lot of explanation. And then it's like kind of you normal see the begging bowl. Or almost bowl. And in their hand. There's a like kind of the you begging bowl means this bowl is they never keep any kind of the things for the futures when they need food in order to survive, because Buddha, he said you need to be enlightenment to stop or go beyond the true streams. Too much hardship, ascetic is also not good. Too much kind of living like pleasures, of course not. A kind of the middle well. And also it's like you begging food. Whatever you receive, you eat that moment. Then there is not much kind of clinging, no hope, future. And just like whatever that moment, very simple life. Focus on like kind of the be enlightenment. Therefore, there's many reasons why they're carrying staff and the bowls. And then it's like the fifth. It's already, of course, with the, but 50 on the branches. On the rare branches and behind of the Guru Rinpoche's, visualize the jewel of the Dharma in the form of the piles of the books, and like a kind of the back the tree on the lotus, there is the teaching of the great perfections. Normally you can to say is 64,000 Tantra teachings, and that is like kind of the pile of the books behind the Guru Rinpoche, and that is like kind of the topmost of them, and encased in lattice of the light. Kind of the encased means is each half there is the kind of windows, and each volume is not like kind of the one by one. Each one has small windows and encased it, and lattice of the light from that kind of the luminosity of the letter at the 6,004,000 100,000 center of the great perfection teachings. 6,400,000 bum chak tu chita. Oh yes, 6 million. Tukche said in 400 bunta truch. I don't know, it is the 4,400,000 tantras. 6,400,000 jumbum to tuchzai. 6,400,000. 6,400,000. Buntu tuch. Okay. Center of the great perfections. The label of the each volumes facing towards you. All these books appear very clearly and distinctly and resonate with the spontaneous melody of the vowels and consonant, which is the alphabet A, and also it's like the vowels, they like kind of natural, this sound melody is occurring. And between the branches are all the glorious Dharma protectors, both the wisdom protectors and the protectors consistent by the effect of their past actions. And also the male protectors, all the face outward, there is the reason. Their activity is to prevent outer obstacles they never send to inside from coming in, protecting about that us from the hindrance and condition unfavorable to practicing the Dharma and attain enlightenment, and those male protectors. And also the female protectors are the face inward. There's of course a reason. Their activity is the keeping inner accomplishment from leaking out. They never kind of lose. They never cannot leaking out. And also, of course, think of this refuge, the figures of the refuge. Think of these figures of the refuge, which their immeasurable qualities of the knowledge, love, and power, compassion, leading you as your only great guiders. And that is like to guide to you, protect to you, and help to you, and you're this like the source of the refugee. Those all the what you visualize, this you visualize it, and kind of the you can to coding this object, then you can to make merit, such kind of you can to prestation, you can to offering to them, you can to confess to them, and you can ask to them to teach to us Dharma. You can kind of the request to them to be all the times to be in the each sentient beings front of them. And also you can whatever working with them virtue so meritorious, you can to dedicate benefit for sentient beings. Therefore we call the field of the merit, this kind of object, quoting this, we can make such meritorious. And like this, when you visualize like this, thinking glorious, such good things, also your habitual tendencies is changing, your habitual tendency changing, your mind is more clearly, more shine, more penetrate, more kind of the like kind of crystals. And then it's like you can do more, you can practice calm body, and like naturally occurring into your mind is a calm body. And also it's like a kind of the specific like kind of seeing inside. penetrative, like inside, it's also naturally can occur. And therefore there's reasons you can to visualize like this. Therefore there are as your only great guide, source of refuge, and just like a kind of one-pointedly and great, with the great irreversible faith, devotion. And then you can to pray, and yourself in the front then is not necessarily as yourself. You can kind of visualize, imagine that your father in this life is with you on your right side, your mother is in your left side, and in the front of the you, and gathered like gathered together in a immense crowd covering the surface of the earth. In the front of the you, gathered together. What? Gathered together in the immense crowd covering the surface of the earth are all beings of the three worlds and the 6 realms of the 16. The first crowd consisting of all the adversity who detest you, and all obstacle make you, harm you. All these beings with you are the standing up. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is in the Tibetan order, it's a little different. In the front of the you, gathered together, and like kind of immense crowd covering the surface of the earth are all the beings of the 3 worlds, full of the sentient beings, the 6 realms. 3 worlds is the design realms, form realms, formless realms. The 6 realms, of course, you know. 3 is like the inferior realm, superior 3 realms, whatever exists sentient beings. The first row, first in the front row, consisting of all the adversities, like kind of your adversity is like kind of your like kind of someone's to disturb to you, who dictator you, and all the obstacle makers you is like first in the row. That is the harming you. All these are being with you, your standings. There is the such reasons why you are meditate, your kind of the adversity and test or the like kind of obstacle makers you put in the first row. Then it's like there's many reasons, like we can do more explanation, and with the palms of their hand joined together, then you can do you take refuge vows, or you can to take refuge in the forever until be enlightenment. Yes, I think it's some. If you have some questions, you are very welcome. No questions, no problem.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Tasha Kuzava asks how not to forget about essential nature and natural expression while doing daily things as job, chat, sleep, and so on. Mind is constantly distracted. Maybe could you give practical advice?
who destructed to your minds. You look at it, though there is the essential nature, and there is the essential nature, or the destruct itself also natural expressions. Then it's like you don't need specifically an antidote or the advice or something. You don't need. That is simple as answer. And?
Thank you. Techen Norbu says, Rinpoche, if two Buddhas meet, what do you think they talk about? Do they discuss their Dharma activities and exchange ideas and experiences, or just remain silent?
Or two Buddhas, they talking to meet each other. They're talking about Katoshka, Momo, Pizza, Kachapuri, and they talking normal.
Thank you. Anton says, Rinpoche, could you please come back to line about Vajradhara of Orgyen? He wears a brocade cloak, monastic robes, and a long-sleeved blue tunic, and on his head the lotus head. Could you please describe a little bit how these clothes look alike? Also, could you give some information about decoration and symbolism this clothing, especially Guru Rinpoche lotus head?
Guru Rinpoche has generally, he has 3 hearts, and one heart is the Dakinis of this lotus heart is the in Mandi Saho king. He's offered, and he's clothed. Maybe you can to look in the biography of the Guru Rinpoche. Today it's maybe not necessary, and this Guru Rinpoche's heart itself has so many explanations. Guru Rinpoche, this lotus, and there's up like kind of 3 peaks, and in the middle there is like 2 virtual feathers, and vajas, and also Guru Rinpoche's there's kind of in the middle in the lotus heart there's the moon and the sun, and like this all explanation in the Mr. Google, can you ask her? There is a lot.
Thank you. Maria Luisa has 5 questions. The first question, could you explain a little bit more why Shravakas and Prajika Buddhas do not take refuge in the Dharma of the path and only in the Dharma of cessation if they also have a path? And also the difference between these 2 dharmas, because they are very similar.
But similar is not, because it's like the path, Dharma of the path is maybe more material, more like kind of the substantial things. The Dharma of the sensation, realization sensation is a more, they think, genuine, more kind of the authentic. Therefore they're taking.
In the practice 16 elders, why are the Shravakas considered to be the holders of the teachings if they have a middling motivation and not the Bodhisattvas? In the practice of 16 elders,
Yes.
why are the Shravakas considered to be the holders of the teaching?
Holders of the teachings? Okay, I don't understand, Luisa, this one.
Next question. If the Shravakas do not take refuge in Buddha's mind, only the cessation mind, does it mean they make subdivisions in the Buddha's mind and one part is contaminated?
No, this is not contaminated, but it's like when this you know to be enlightenment, that the enlightenment is not different, but for their perspective is a kind of different.
And why do they not take refuge in Buddha's speech, since he gave us...
Feet.
Buddha's speech?
Speech. Okay, speech.
Since he gave us precious teachings through it.
Yes, they take refuge in the Buddhas in the heart of, not verb, not kind of volumes. It's Buddha's inside. Therefore, Buddha is the ultimate representative of the Dharma.
Thank you. And next question. Can we say the Yidam is more related to the empty essence nature and the darkness to luminous aspect?
No.
Thank you. What is the teacher as Yidam? Is it like Guru Yoga?
You can't, in the Guru Yoga explanations, your teachers, Yadam, Dakinis, everything, you can't make the representative that they said, okay?
Thank you. Teacher Nobu asks, what does it mean to get stability in the practice of cutting through? If stillness and movement are of the same nature, what do we stabilize then?
That is like, for example, when you look at your mind, okay, direct, there's all 84,000 the thoughts is disappeared. You cut it. That means cutting through.
Thank you. And Irina Shoshminova asks,
Okay.
Dear Rinpoche, thank you for your teaching. What should I do to develop or increase the faith? Thank you.
Faith. Oh, you need to think of what you are to faith to teacher or to faith the three jewels. Okay, you don't mention, tomorrow you put your questions. Faith to who? What? If you want to increase faith to the three jewels teachers, you need to study qualities. Then you have kind of the enthusiastic, interest, happy, and faith that it can come. Yeah. And that's all.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. So time so namdo tom chezu pani tom nini pudana yeganan chi walam trupaya sapun solin rokandro hyo hyoncho sando mandar hyoncho hyola yorwato sonji namji dutjele na ponwa hyo yewa kanda yonda lamato darmi chuju pala lonshu salon namji yantel Dorjin chongo componyer to yo konrirar bikor hinkamsa pandu deva malu jon yenen zeon tenzan janso yapisanti parda tanje pardan la mikase tembato kanyayon la dehin jonwato doyen malu choso debyon yerdo sonji salango pa yo laso